It's gonna be a cold ride. Oh, yep, here come the chills. Sweet. Oh, yeah. Gosh, I'm cold. I got like tears in my eyes.
I know, it was cold.
That's good though.
I really intense than I was expecting. Very intense.
It was a lot more comfortable on Sunday when it was like 80 degrees out.
I can imagine.
Summer is officially here, and that means that Kennywood's newest ride is also open at last. Spinvasion is the park's newest addition, and on the weekend of May 19th, pass holders were able to ride it early. I got my first Spinvasion ride on May 21st, and I was also invited out to the park's media day on May 25th, bright and early at 6 a.m. Before I talk about the ride though, let's talk about the area. This is not the first time this section of the park has been revamped. 20 years ago, almost the exact same thing happened when this area became Volcano Valley. The area featured a rethemed Enterprise, renamed to Volcano, as well as the infamous King Kahuna, a Huss topspin from Lake Compounce. The ride is known now for its numerous mechanical issues and brief 6-year run before being removed. Despite this, Volcano Valley was viewed as a nice facelift for this section of the park, but once King Kahuna was removed, the theming began to quickly disappear, and very little remains today. Now, instead of Volcano Valley, Area 412 sits in its place, an alien invasion themed section consisting of the repainted Cosmic Chaos, Spinvasion, and the Gift Ship. At the area's entrance stands a giant statue of an alien who seems to be a bit lost. I wasn't a fan of his design at first, but it's slowly growing on me. I think they should have put Crypto from Destroy All Humans here, but what do I know? Maybe that would have scared kids. The gift ship looks good and has a nice selection of new merchandise, including this awesome Spinvasion shirt I just had to buy, but it's best viewed at night because of the lights placed at the top. Now then, on to the main event. Spinvasion is the first Zamperla Gryphon to be installed in the United States. You might compare this to the Endeavor, another Zamperla creation, but whereas the Endeavor raises up into the air much like Volcano used to when it was here, the Gryphon allows for pre-programmed seat movements, which can result in some visually impressive patterns. During testing, the ride was using this wave pattern, before eventually transitioning to what I am referring to as the swing around pattern, due to its similarity to the former Kennywood attraction. In my experience, and now that the ride is officially open, the wave pattern seems to have been removed, leaving only the swing around pattern for the duration of the 2-minute ride cycle. Behind Spinvasion is a phenomenal mural that I got to see close up during the construction tour earlier this year. It's packed with Easter eggs and is definitely worth a close look. And at the ride entrance is this awesome statue of this alien and some sort of crab robot. It even makes sounds when you're under it. The queue for Spinvasion is not covered, and this is one of my biggest complaints with the ride. When I rode for pass holder previews, I waited in line for roughly 45 minutes, and I was just baking in the sun that whole time. Kennywood really needs to get some shade cover over this queue before all the guests end up burnt. On the other hand, Spinvasion functions as a pretty effective wind machine, so anytime the ride cycle gets going, the resulting wind does feel pretty nice. On to the ride itself, beginning with the restraints. They're pretty snug, even for a skinny guy like me, and I did witness the ride ops having to unlock the restraints multiple times so guests could adjust them better. Just imagine Black Widow's restraints, but slightly tighter, and that should give you a good idea of what they're like. Thankfully, there's a test seat at the entrance if you're at all concerned about this. Once you're seated and the ride cycle begins, the ride does a few rotations to get up to speed, and I was kind of surprised at just how fast this thing goes. It might not look that fast from the footage, but take my word for it, it might catch you off guard. This footage was filmed around 6:30 in the morning, and it was really cold, so my teeth were chattering during this ride. The wind alone gives me the impression that this will be a good ride to cool off on in the summer heat. After a few more spins, the swing around pattern starts, and this is a lot of fun. It's so simple, just crossing paths with the seat in front of you, but it's so fun to watch, and being on the ride actually gives you some positive G's, much like what Volcano did once it started to invert. The fact that Spinvasion has single seating means that you feel much more exposed than most spinning rides. You can put your arms out in T-pose, and it really does make you feel like you're flying through the air. I wouldn't call it intense or anything, but it definitely has some thrilling elements to it. After about a minute and a half, the pattern stops and you'll start to slow down, and just like that, the ride has come to an end. Overall, I really enjoyed my rides on Spinvasion. It's grown on me more and more with every ride I take, though it's not my favorite flat ride in the park. That spot still goes to Black Widow whenever it's open, though Spinvasion is a close second. I think kids and families will get a kick out of this, and even if you don't want to ride, it's still fun to watch the seats crisscrossing along with the rider reactions. Speaking of watching the ride, the lighting package on this thing is phenomenal. So many different LED strips cover the whole ride, and they change in a never-ending array of colors. I have yet to get a night ride on Spinvasion, but this makes me want to change that as soon as possible. Spinvasion isn't a high-thrill attraction, but it is a genuinely enjoyable ride that I think anybody could get on and have a fun time with. As a replacement to Volcano, it does its job well, and the rest of the new Area 412 complements the ride nicely. Just get some shade over that queue and all will be good. With that said, thanks to Kennywood for inviting me out for another great media day. I'm sure I'll be getting plenty more rides on Spinvasion as the summer progresses. If you've ridden Spinvasion, feel free to let me know your thoughts on the ride in Area 412 down in the comments. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time for more amusement park action here on Rampaging Rex Productions.